We just got back a little bit ago from piano lessons and taken their dad some lunch. And I had this random thought to share online why I started homeschooling and why I think homeschooling, if you're wanting to do it, you're interested in seeing if it's something that's for you, I think is better if you start out homeschooling. So the first thing I wanted to share is why I started homeschooling, and that is because my oldest he turned 5 the week that kindergarten started, and where we were living, kindergarten was all day and the kids got on the bus early and they were gone for a really long time. And when they got home, it just felt like the day would be gone and he felt really too young to be going. I had some concerns. I wasn't in love with the school in the area and all that too. So as it got closer, I just didn't feel good about sending him at all. So I reached out to a friend that I had when we lived in Alabama, who I knew homeschooled, and I was like, what do you suggest? Because I just want to do kindergarten. And she sent me stuff and recommended using The Good and the Beautiful. And this friend of mine is not a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints like we are. But she really loved it and felt that it was a good curriculum. So I grew up in the church and loved to listen to Jenny Phillips' music as a teenager. I was really shocked to find out she had created this homeschool curriculum and was excited to, just see how it went for kindergarten. And he was pretty bright and I knew that he was ready to start doing some more school. But yeah, I was like, maybe I'll feel different when it's time for first grade. So we bought it and started. Stop making faces. And he did really well and excelled in it. That was in 2018. We started that. And for 2 years, it was really awesome and we loved it. Then COVID hit and that was a really weird year. A lot of our friends were not in school. We still did quite a bit of school that year, but that was like the most behind we were. I didn't really worry about it. I knew that we would be fine, but COVID was kind of weird. Then we moved to Utah and had a weird year of homeschooling, staying with family. Was that for 3rd grade? Yeah, I think that was 3rd grade. We stayed with family.
I think I was in 2nd grade. Yeah, it was 3rd grade.
It was 3rd grade for him. So that still was like a weirder year. It was great. I mean, all the years were great to me, like worth homeschooling. There's not ever a time period that I regret homeschooling at all. Just every year has been really different. My favorite time would have been that kindergarten and 1st grade for him. And then just since we've been in our own home again here. So that in between, that was kind of weird years, COVID and staying with people weren't my favorite, but I still loved them. And I think we learned a lot and they have a lot of good memories from that time. So I could go into my years all a little different, but because we started homeschooling, after the kindergarten year, I just couldn't believe how little time we actually spent on school and how far he excelled. And do you want to go do your crunch labs? Because you're going to be distracting for me to upload this video. I'm not going to be able to use it if you do that.
Okay.
So we just liked it a lot, and after that year I felt very empowered to do 1st grade, and he was reading and just doing really awesome. That obviously isn't the only marker of success, whether they're reading or not, but that meant a lot to me. I couldn't believe that I taught him how to read. We really liked The Good and the Beautiful. I feel like I learned and just felt really connected to him as a mother as I did it. And with having at the time a 3-year-old and a baby, homeschooling, Lars was 2, I guess. My second child was 2 when I started homeschooling with Lincoln. But turned 3 a few months after. So yeah, with having a toddler and a baby at the same time, it was like, it's really easy to forget the older child and just be consumed in the needs of the younger one, especially when you have an oldest child that's very independent, capable, and all that stuff. So it was really awesome for me to get that time with him that felt, yeah, very connective. And I grew and learned so much at that time. I loved his school. I looked forward to doing it. He looked forward to doing it. If we were sick one day or had stuff and I didn't do school with him, he was sad and would go get it out and want to do it. And it was just such a positive experience. So we did it for first grade. And then I just knew that I was kind of committed and that I was going to do this. I wanted to do it with all the other ones. And then I started homeschooling with my second child, and I've done kindergarten with my youngest now, and this is my 6th year homeschooling. Lincoln's wrapping up 5th grade, and I still really love it, and it's just been really good for our family. So I know that there's a lot of other people out there that consider it and think about it, and there's a lot of, mixed voices, but I thought that I should add my voice and my experience to the conversation, and I wanted to share that I really think it's important, if you have a desire to start when they're in kindergarten. I think if you start them in public school and they get going, and and then there's this idea in their heads that if this is hard, I'll come home. If home is hard, I'll go to school. I don't really think that that's super helpful or sets you up for success. I also think that those people that I've noticed, friends or family that have gone that route, there's almost like an unlearning of the school system that has to happen for you to come home. They have to get used to mom telling them what to do. They got to get used to their siblings being around more often. They have to get used to the flow and structure of home, the things that are different, that you don't have, school lunch or maybe a lot of the school festivities, but there's different ones that are really great. And I feel like that adjustment is just so much bigger, and people just seem to struggle with it more. I would, if anything, start homeschooling and then go to public school later if you feel like that is, if it's not working. And if it's working, then you just stay doing it and it's not a problem and you don't really have to wonder. We moved back to Utah and we've been in our house now for a year and a half, but we were for a year and a half kind of in between in limbo, staying with family members here in Utah. So we've been in Utah for almost 3 years now back here. And this current home that we're in up the street, just like 2 houses away from me, is a really big, awesome public school, elementary school. And it's beautiful and it's awesome. And the principals that I've spoken to have been great and helpful. The teachers have been wonderful. And my children participate in things here and there. And I really was like nervous in some ways, but was just like, if it's meant to be, it's meant to be, about moving here, because I thought my kids would, look at the school 2 doors down and see kids coming and going all day, every day, all year, and be sad that they weren't there. And I always had in my head, if they had strong feelings about it one way or another, I would listen to that and we, take that into account. So I was curious to see how that would go. I called the school and got them into PCLs, which is a PLC time, which is where they would do PLCs. So which is where they do kind of elective more stuff. So they had like gym and library time and STEM time. This school is a STEM school, so they don't have like the arts, which would be more of what I would have been interested in, but they did have like the science, computer, other stuff like that. So I signed them up for that. Halfway through the year last year, my youngest, that at the time was in 1st grade, he hated it the entire time. And it really was like a waste of their time. The school took till almost the end of the year to like even hire a STEM teacher. So I didn't realize they were going and sitting in a library or sitting in a gym for a long period of time. And the school didn't really always have stuff planned very well for that elective time. And he also was in first grade, so I think he was a little bit more lost and not sure what was going on. And it all seemed like a great plan at the beginning, but it just wasn't. He dreaded going, and he missed quality time here, and he missed things here, and he didn't want to get behind. And my kids have been able to get quite ahead in their studies through homeschooling, and they're very proud of that, how far ahead they get, and it was slowing him down. And he just was dreading it every time. So we're like, there's nothing they're really doing that's adding to him. There's nothing challenging about it. If anything, it's just more boring. And we have a library of books and all kinds of things here. So it just wasn't worth it. So we pulled him out. The older one wanted to stay. We pulled my younger one out of it, but the school still lets them do like running club and choir and other stuff, but we pulled him out of the PCL. My older one, he stayed in it till the end of the year, did it again this year. And again, like around Christmas time, he was just like, I'm not learning anything. I'm missing things at home. The kids at the school just like talk about bad stuff and use bad language all the time. It's just not, he also felt like it's just kind of a waste of his time, and he's getting behind in his own homeschool. And again, they're pretty self-motivated, and they like to get ahead in their studies. So I tried to give it a few weeks, like through January, and then he was like, I told you I don't want to go anymore, cancel it. So I did, but I called the school and I was like, they still want to do running club and choir and be included in things from time to time. So they're like, that's great, that's fine. He doesn't need to come to PLC time, whatever. So they don't go to that anymore, but they do the elective stuff. And we are a very social family. We spend time together as a family till school gets out every day, and then typically the evenings, sports, dance, friends, more than anything friends. We have so many friends that are here all the time, and I think that's how our culture as a family is. We wherever we've lived, in Alabama, in Washington, we've always had a lot of friends that feel like they can gather and hang out at our house. And my kids are very social, just like us. And so it's been really nice that we get a lot of that time in as a family during the day. And then it is really fun for them and exciting. They like to have all their stuff done so that they can play with friends in the evenings. So I feel like the reverse, when people go to school first, then to homeschool, the transition is a little harder. And then they start to get in, and it's almost like it doesn't give homeschool like that great of a chance, because you're focused on how public school is and making public school at home. And I had a friend that was like, you can't recreate the school system at home. And I was like, I sure in the heck hope not. That's not the goal. For people that homeschooled, that couldn't be further from the goal. I do not think about or compare or try to mimic the public school system in really any way. I don't think it's an ideal way to educate and develop character in children. I love the quote that I don't have handy on me, but it says something like, I don't know if it's Charlotte Mason, I don't know who it is, but the purpose of education should be to teach a child to love what he should and to hate what he should hate, and loving the good and hating the bad. And I do not think the public school system is the place that ideally does that teaches children to love the good and to hate the bad. I don't think our homes live up to some perfect standard, but I do think it gets a lot closer to what it should be in our homeschool than it would be by sending them every day. So my goal is not that. And I feel that people that come home later, they're constantly trying to make it like the public school, and it's empty and it's hollow, and I think it's easy to lose your reasons. Not that you can't do it, but that transition I've observed is a little harder. I feel like there's an ease to the way we do it. I don't feel in any way that I question what I'm doing or need outside validation for it. Yeah, so I feel that it's been a good thing. And as a mother, I've really come into being this person who is confident and okay with my choices, even when a lot of other people and friends and family have not been okay with my choices. I really couldn't care less. And I also think that I am raising children who are completely okay with going against the grain, that do not need to be doing what everybody else is doing. Yeah, and I think those that I've observed, those that come home from public school take a while to adjust, and then a lot of times when it does get hard at home, because it will, kids suddenly want to go back to school, and you almost have the situation that you find in a lot of blended families where it's like, I'll go to dad's if mom has rules, and I'll go to mom's if dad has rules, you know, kind of thing. And I don't really think that that's good for children. So if you're gonna go any route, I think it's important that parents stick to the decisions they've made and not put adult decisions on children. So if you're gonna do this, do it and stick to it. If you're gonna do that, do it and stick to it. And when you decide to make a decision change, I think it really should come down to what the parents decide and not a child. I definitely care about my children's input, obviously, like with the PCL time, but at the end of the day, it was not them that decided to stop going or to start going. And I think it's important that adults make those decisions and take accountability for those decisions that you make for your family. So, yeah, that's my plug. I think that if you're considering it and you're like, maybe I'll send them to kindergarten, first grade, and do it later, I would take a leap of faith and do it now. And public school will always be there in the future for you, obviously. The transition to it, if you actually homeschool, should be seamless in a lot of ways, but I think it is well worth it to start at home and to read books from people who have experience in homeschooling and talk to people that have experience in homeschooling. Your friend that homeschooled kindergarten during COVID is probably not a person who has a wealth of knowledge to impart to you about how to homeschool. I would spend time finding veteran homeschool moms that have done it for a long time and who have children that are educated, that have excelled. So that is my advice that I had on my mind today that I wanted to make a video about and share. And this is my little kindergartner. So anyway, good luck, and I hope this video is helpful to somebody.